Welcome to Poetry Palace TV. I am Tom Beal, and this is my Diary of a Poet series, episode 24. The intent of this show is to read volume 18, in case you haven't been here before, Internal Revolutions, poems I've been writing to my late wife since February of 2020. Unfortunately, I have not yet been able to read them in a composed manner. It was suggested that I simply start from the beginning, so that I may get used to the idea slowly and add a bit more time to my process before actually trying to read those poems to you. If you would like to read along at another pace, the whole series is available to read for free at poetrypalacegiftshop.com. The producer of this show, as well as other fans, believe the verse in her volume is quite helpful for those who have lost a spouse. And if you know anyone who you feel might be helped, please suggest they check it out. In this episode, I believe we're going to finish volume 14, and then a little explanation of the paperback cover artwork I was supposed to tell you a little while back, and then start volume 15. Number 1058, A Muse Zing. This one is for all the lonely people. Whoops, seems I've already used that once. It's nice of Tom to let me use his pen. Maybe someday he'll stop taking it back. Bearing ego like a sacred steeple. Guess every palace ought to have its dunce. Only hinting at remorse now and then. So I'll just play and let him take the flack. So many hands in one non-location. So many voices which cry out. So many ears awaiting eyes' silence. So many tears with joy to celebrate. Many veins of blatant moderation, large herds of whisperers needing to be shout. I'll take up the weapons of nonviolence, to war with mortal visions consecrate. Number 1059, Them, Us, and I. The she, the her of we, now says there is too much going on. He, the whir of me, appears not yet to be bowing. They, the part of we, for which these words we are sowing. Them, the heart of be, the rhyme and reason we're growing. Number 1061, Bamboozled Again. The company of so many of the muse's expressions leaves me full of a bamboozler's confessions, illegitimately scrawling my digressions, the ilk and flow of scroll and ink obsessions, sans the scholastic of educational sessions, antiquating verse in meterless regressions, inarticulate in genre suppressions, wasting just a little bit more of your time. Number 1062, Less of a Writer? If I am less of a writer for not being read, so much less than the writer, I am already dead. But if words have their way, they are the writer. For me, is but finding their way, avoiding slighter. Could have been chiseled to stone. Words do find their way. Inertia's poets to stone, echoing air way. But I use spirits to ink and bottle to stone. Seancing spirits to ink. Slice minds to the bone. Just one handful of pages, many eyes to ink. Just the stages of pages not daring to blink. But life's consideration to purchase pages. Then no consideration, the poet rages. So book is stacked against book consideration. Then war would look against book for adoration. But life's being read while life's writing the book. And strife's being read, be it by hook or by crook. If I am less of a writer for not being read, so much less than the writer, I am already dead. And that is the end of volume 14. So, being as unprepared as I was to do this show, when we did Voracious Verse excerpts, I was supposed to bring this book in. I forgot to bring it from home. I'm still sitting here in the middle of winter. I don't know where we are. Somewhere midsummer now, I think. But so this is the paperback I was allowed to do, Voracious Verse. And I did the artwork for the cover. It was one of 3 or 4 pieces of artwork I ever did in my whole life. And I liked it. Some people don't. Worked for me. I was very glad to have this done, and I may someday do another round of this. I did not know enough to run advertisement or anything, so I missed a chance there maybe, but also got to have a paperback and give out 100 copies of that. That was awful nice. And got to display my artwork in another form, which I haven't done a lot of, but it was also nice, I guess. Anyway, Diary of a Poet, Volume 15. Dear reader, this wonderful book will keep your mind actively seeking comparisons between your memories and reflections and that of the poets, while easily propelling you back and forth from past to future. Many of the poems within reflect upon events that profoundly affect man's life during the various periods of evolutionary growth. This book is quietly reflective and provides the reader the opportunity to savor some of life's tiny challenges that occur on a daily basis. Trish McQueen, once a princess at Poetry Palace. Palace Poets, Volume 20, Poetic Ponderings. So another book I didn't actually choose the poems for. Number 1063, This Moment. Spent $1.25 on paper and ink, and that isn't too hard to do. Package samples and a proof for number 18. Now the wait for their point of view. Rain postponed the money game for another day on a week already one short. The van needs some cosmetics and maybe a belt, low on the priority sort. The wife needs another cruise to ease the havoc decades in a factory can cause. Just colorful additions to life and living. Good thing there are not any flaws. Ashen. One of those chat room poetry days where they give you a title and you write a poem. Number 164, Ashen. That black spot, the Manson bit of psych that is part of all. Is pain hot? All fingers jam the dike or suffer its call. All exposed, the balance of the scale. Do your efforts kill? Violence posed, cannot ignore the hail. Turns it into thrill. Insane rush, the martyr's addict cry, where weakness does bleed. Until crush, the calls echo to die, midst its ashen seed. End. Number 1065, almost humorous. It is almost humorous how long now a post remains, dangling there for days on the front pages as if in chains. Got me thinking of posting of yore when an hour's stay was long. 1,000 poets a day, or was it not quite that strong? 125 friends, 5 hours after work. Inspirations enticing, bordering on berserk. And might that be the good old days? We trade in fractions now, just as if yesterday had a single field to plow. Number 1066, Center court. So many dreams fall by the wayside as time pulls us through its loops. So many hopes age in dejection as ambition soon tires and droops. All of the knowledge of adolescence flutters away like caterpillars climbing, while the void is slowly filled with fragments of truth that in human lack has been chiming. As days fly past in their most glorious flurry, and moments tick into our epochs of hours, we follow the lead of kings eyed before us, realizing at last the mockery of their powers. So we stand in the end, alone with the lonely, taking breaths of the latter days less furiously, striving to be part of the person envisioned, looking upon the mundane even more curiously, finally learning the sure practice of perfect, for the love of the act without thought of reward, ever growing and grateful for all of the players, forgetting altogether to keep track of who scored. Number 1067. Dawn. What does the newness of today reveal that has yet to show its face? And what is there now in my heart to feel of which memory has no trace? What brings the muse of which I could not yend, that has not been scrolled to page? How can I realize the blood of this pen to free the immortal sage? Number 1068. Destiny. I look out into the sea of art, and waves are all I see. Brush strokes and words and dance are some forms taken an artist be. An ocean of inspiration looms, practiced like grains of sand. And we work ourselves to death with joy, as it was always planned. Number 1069. Echoes. Reminiscent whispers sink their fangs into my heart, while echoes of the loves I lived seek vengeance in turn. Don't corrosive atmospheres lend grievance to the part? Won't the winds of time erase these memories that burn? Vipers now fill the darkness where hope once used to be. Goblins haunt the alleyways where dreams turn to explore. The innocence that spent its life fighting to be free now staggers fate's streets at night, a delusioned whore. I believe that is all we're going to do today, because this next one is going to take a little bit of time to read. I hope you have been enjoying your time here listening at Poetry Palace. Thank you very much for joining me today for this episode. I hope there was something that caught your ear. And please feel free to check out the website, and I will see you next week. Au revoir.